Hello everyone, this is Kristen from Art Saves the Day, and today we're going to be creating a digital stencil portrait like this one. The best part about this type of stencil portrait is that you don't have to be an amazing artist in order to create one. You just need to have a basic understanding of highlights, midtones, and shadows, which we're going to go into in just a bit. This is the photograph that I chose to do for this image. For the sake of this lesson, I chose this photograph off of a royalty-free image website, but she has everything that I would want in a picture for this project. She is crisp and clear, she has great definition, she's not blurry, she has excellent highlights and midtones and shadows, and I can see most of her face. Only just a tiny bit of her pigtails are chopped off, but I'm confident that I can fill those in myself. So find an image that fits all of those criteria, and let's get started. In Procreate on a fresh canvas, I'm going to the wrench icon, clicking Add, and then Insert Photo, and then I'm going to add the photo that I'm going to use. I'm sizing her just right so that I have enough space to add on the details of her pigtails. If you don't have Procreate, many other digital programs can work for this as well. I'm going to the Layers tab and I'm going to add a new layer. And then I'm going to go to the color swatches and choose a midtone for her skin. I'm doing her in shades of purple, so I'm choosing kind of a medium grayish purple color for her midtone. Now I'm going to choose my brush, and I'm using an inking brush, Studio Ink, because I want a crisp line for this. Now I'm going to just trace all around the exterior of her entire face and hair and shoulders. This is the easiest part. We're beginning with the midtone because we're going to use this as the base for all of our highlights and shadows. This is going to be one big solid piece, and the other layers are going to sit on top of this layer. Once you have everything connected in one solid line, you're going to drag and drop your color into the center of the face, and oops, you'll know really quick if you didn't connect all of your line, because that happens. Reconnect, drag drop, and you have your first layer. Now I'm going back into the Layers tab and I'm turning off that midtone layer, and then I'm going to select my highlight color, which I'm just going to use white for this. Go back into the Layers tab, add a new layer, select Studio Ink Pen, and now you're going to identify all of the highlights. You're going to create solid shapes in the areas that look the brightest. This is something that sometimes takes a little bit of practice. Sometimes it can be a bit easier if you turn your photograph into black and white to really identify where the whitest areas of the face are. But you can also squint. That's something that a teacher taught me. If you're not sure if an area should be white, squint and see if it seems much lighter than everything else, and just go on your instincts. You'd be surprised how well this will turn out if you just kind of go with it. I'm doing her entire whites of her eyes because I'm going to be layering on her irises afterwards. I'm also simplifying her shirt, taking away the patterns, and just finding the highlights of the shirt. Next, I'm going back up to the Layers tab and I'm going to turn off this layer, add a new layer, and I'm going to create my first shadow layer. I really like to do multiple layers of shadows, one very dark color and then black to kind of put in the final details. It makes everything look nice and crisp. Making sure that I have my Studio Inking Pen, I'm now going in and I'm just trying to identify the shadow areas. Again, if you're not sure what should be in shadow, squint. Remember what areas that you made white and kind of look for darker tones in the skin and the hair. I'm doing the entire area of her hair in shadow up here because I'm going to go back and add in some darker details and later some more highlights over the top. Same thing with her irises. I'm making the entire iris this purple color, and then I'll go in with my black later to add the darker details. This is one of the best things about programs like Procreate. You can really zoom in close and add some incredible details. Focus on finding any tiny details to add, creases around the eyes, wrinkles in the lips. Next, I'm going to add a new layer. This is going to be my black layer, so all of the darkest parts of this picture. And I'm going to turn off my purple layer before I get started. Make sure that I have my inking pen. Turn off my purple layer. There we go. And then now it's time to just trust your instincts and find the darkest parts of your picture and outline them with black. For this picture, I want to make sure I'm doing the top of her eyelid, going around the iris and adding in the pupil. Don't worry about that highlight in her eye because we're going to add that back in later. Now I'm kind of exaggerating her eyelashes just to make it a little bit more cartoony. And then really just finding all of the dark areas. Again, if you're not sure if something should be in black, squint your eyes as you look and just kind of try to find the darkest parts of your picture. I feel like I keep saying trust your instincts for this, but it is actually kind of important. If you keep putting so much thought into what's right and what's incorrect, this is going to take you forever. And then it's also not going to be very fun. Remember, you can always go back and add more, or you can do more layers on top of the previous layer if you want to add something. Now this is the best part. Once you have finished your black, you're going to go in and you're going to turn off the layer with the photograph, and then turn on your other layers one by one to see what you have. It's like magic every time. I love saving this for last because it's kind of a nice surprise. Now you can look at your picture and just kind of see what might be missing. I'm going in with some more highlights on her pigtails. And on my purple layer, I'm darkening a few areas. And on my black layer, I'm filling in a little bit more on the side of her hair. And I like to add kind of a nice crisp line to outline everything in black, just to make everything look finished off. The final thing that I like to add is one more layer in white to do just 2 little dots on her eyes for highlights, and then she really comes alive. Also adding just a little bit of highlights into her pigtails. Choose a background color that really pops. I chose a complementary color to my purples. Crop your picture, and then you're finished. If you found this tutorial at all informative, please hit like, drop me a comment below, and subscribe to this channel, Art Saves the Day, for future art lessons for all ages.